Okay, you guys, welcome back to the pantry, and Merry Christmas. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we just had such a wonderful time last night with our family that today's always a very kick-back, do-what-you-want day. And I want to try to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with all this ham. We actually only had 20 people for dinner, which we were expecting more. But there was a few people that couldn't, they had other obligations and they couldn't stop by. So anyway, I had done 2 spiral hams and all the hors d'oeuvres that you saw in the last video, and I had a huge pan of, makes 3 of these I think, pan of scalloped potatoes. Somebody brought these delicious green beans and another green salad, and 6 pies, and we were really truly blessed by the bounty. So, but now my job is to how to use the leftovers so we don't feel like we're eating spiral ham every day, because otherwise we're going to have to eat spiral ham every day. And I'm going to try to use some of the things that were also on the hors d'oeuvre platter, because you still have those leftovers. So I'm going to start with my ham, and I'm just going to cut this into bite-sized pieces, and what I'm making is a ham and cheese and pasta casserole with just a couple extra twists in there. I'm adding the kale that I bought. We eat kale a lot, but I bought that specifically to lay down the leaves for things to set on the hors d'oeuvre platter, because it makes a prettier presentation. You know, having that green in the background, it's more appetizing. I didn't have a whole lot of leftovers off of that, but I had a few carrots, so I've got about a cup of carrots chopped up, a cup of peas that I pulled out of the freezer. I want to put those in there. I also had a can of water chestnuts. I'm going to add that in there, and I had leftover salami. So I doubt that we're going to sit down and have salami and cheese and all that like we did. So I'm going to I'm putting that into the casserole as well. So I've got my pasta water that's really salted well, is on the stove. I'm going to use this pasta. This pasta right here, it's got a little well, like a ditch in there, and then all the grooves for the cheese sauce to lay in. It's really a neat pasta. It holds up well to cooking. So any pasta that holds up like that is great to do in casseroles, because we don't want our pasta to end up mushy by any means. And so I'm just going to grab the hold of this thing, and anyway, I did the hams in my countertop oven that was given to me. What a great way to do your ham. I did an 11-pound turkey earlier in the day, and that way I could bone it and just have it warmed when it was time to eat our meal. But I put the spiral hams both in individual oven bags, because spiral hams can tend to dry out, and I can tell you this is juicy and moist. It did not dry out at all. So what we've got, besides a mouthful of ham, is a bunch of ham that we're going to put in here. I want to trim any fat off of that. Like, I don't want that fat on there. We're trying to go a little bit leaner. So if you see any fat or pieces with fat in them, pull those out. We don't need it in our dish. Spiral hams tend to be trimmed up pretty good. So actually, for the money, you know, they cost more than a whole ham, but you're not throwing away all that fat. And you still have a nice ham bone for later. I'm probably going to put both the ham bones in the freezer. And I'm going easy. I'm going to use one of these aluminum trays. I can tell you, they're your best friend for cleanup. Last night I cleaned up the whole thing in no time. It was so easy, really and truly. It was one dishwasher full. We used the heavy chinette plates, so we didn't have to worry about those dishes. Alright, and and then we're going to have a cheese sauce that I'm going to make with Velveeta, but I'm also going to use a bunch of the sliced cheeses that I had out on my hors d'oeuvre tray, because I need to use them somewhere, so I'm going to throw in a little cheesy twist in there that'll make it tastier. And I'm going to bring you back when I'm assembling this, and I've got my cheese sauce made, which I will use evaporated milk, some of those cheeses in there, and probably, I'm guessing about, this is, how big is that? This is a pound. I probably won't need the whole pound of Velveeta. So, anyway, I'll bring you back when I'm putting it together. Alright, you guys, I'm back, and I want to assemble this for you. And it's really a matter of chop and drop for this. I cooked my pasta, and seriously, this is only about halfway done. In the middle where the thickest part is still pretty, it's firmer than chewy. So, put my peas in, my water chestnut. It's nice in casserole to, you know, come across a little crunchy bite that doesn't necessarily change any of the flavor, just adds texture and interest to the dish. And I've got green onions and carrots for color. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, and then we're going to add some more color over here with the kale. Yum. And I'm just going to pick this whole thing up, bring you on over, and put in here. And I could do this in a bowl, and then transfer it into the baking tin, but I'm not going to. I'd rather toss this with my hands when I pour my cheese sauce down over it. It'll all sink down in there and be delicious. So a little shy of a pound of the pasta, and like I said, I cooked it, you know, about halfway through because I want this to finish cooking in the oven. Gotta have time for those carrots to get cooked. So in that situation, my pasta would be overdone. And then my cheese sauce, I did all 4 of the cheeses on my cheese tray. So there's Gouda in here, there's, I did use the whole pound of Velveeta. There's Velveeta, there's cheddar, Gouda, Swiss, and Haverty. And so, pardon my backside there of the pan. We're just going to pour that down over it. And I made it kind of thin. There's a whole can of condensed milk, or not condensed, evaporated, sorry. Don't use condensed or it'll be really sweet. Evaporated milk, and I use this quite often because we don't keep milk in the house very often. So, and when we do, it's usually instant non-fat milk. Clean up the edge of my pan here right now. I think this is going to be really good. I have not made this exact dish, so this is the kind of stuff that flies around in my head. I did add pepper to the cheese, but I did not add any salt to this. The ham is salty, the cheese is salty. It would be overkill on the salt. And I really don't think, I think it's a little bit heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin her down with some pasta water. Okay. Bring my pan over. And this is just the salted pasta water. It's got a little bit of the starch in there. I'll pour that down over it. Make sure the pasta is going to absorb the liquid, so I want to make sure I feel like this is wet enough. Otherwise, we're going to have a dried out dish that nobody's going to want to eat, right? Yum! Okay, one more ladle of pasta water, and we'll be ready to go. And you could, I mean, if you wanted to, you could thin it down with milk, but because that's evaporated milk, it should be, you know, added with some water anyhow. I do that a lot when we have, like if my husband wants to make a mac and cheese, box mac and cheese, which I don't eat, but I have it on hand for donating and, you know, emergencies in the kids' pantry, those kinds of things. Alright, so really all we're going to do now is top it with some shredded cheese, and it's going to go in a 350-degree oven for probably 45 minutes. Till the pasta has finished its cooking process, the carrots have had time to cook, and the kale. The kale has to cook down too. And this will be a great alternative to ham and scalloped potatoes tonight. Yum. I think it's going to be delicious. We'll let you know as soon as it's done. Just a nice coating of cheese. Who doesn't love cheese? And ham and cheese they just go together like no other little match made in heaven. I'm going to cover this in foil and cook it covered for probably half of the cooking process, or maybe like 30 minutes, and then the last 15 take it off so the cheese can get bubbly and melt down. Alright you guys, I'll bring you back and show you the end result. Okay, I'm back, and this is cooked for 45 minutes in the oven. I think this is going to be a family favorite because my husband just is in awe over how good it is. And so I'm going to dish up a little bit right here and give you a taste test and let you see. I was really glad I put the extra pasta water in here and and didn't scrimp on the sauce, because even though it's probably got a little bit excess, it's just perfect. Really and truly, how pretty is that pasta plate? It smells amazing. I took the foil off the last 15 minutes so I could really, truly get that top just a little bit browned, but it really didn't need it. It's good either way. So I'm going to try this for you. And see, I want a little piece. I want a piece of that salami, ham, pasta, veggies. Wow. No wonder he's loving it. This is really, really good. I hope this inspires you to try something a little bit different maybe, or something that you hadn't had before. Who knows? I mean, I hadn't had this one exactly before. I just made it up. I hope that it inspires you to maybe you could take this and share this with somebody. Take it over to their house and share it, or just have it as a gift package. Who knows? I mean, there's tons of things you can do with this. But this will be great for us to munch on and have dinner and lunches, and utilize that ham other than just ham sandwiches and ham and scalloped potato dinner. Anyway, I truly hope it inspires you. I hope that if this is your first time to the pantry, that you subscribe and come back and see me. And for those of you that come back regularly, I've got some good ones in store for you, and all you new people. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to do a little bit of a New Year's Day fair here pretty quick, and try to get on a schedule here pretty quick on how to shop and make that list and stuff. I keep saying I'm going to try to do that. And anyway, rambling on here. I'm going to close for now, and I'll see you on the next video. You never know what it's going to be, and I can guarantee you it's going to be amazing. So come back and see me. All right, yeah. All right, YouTube. God bless.